You're listening to Reza Riffs with Keith Reza and Alan Lee, right here on LA Talk Radio.
Hey guys, welcome to the show. Subscribe, rate, and review. I'm very excited for this episode. I'm a lone wolf today. First of all, Alan Lee will not be here. Victor Pacheco will not be here. I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do about the whole trusty sidekick thing because I think it's good to have when they're here. But I feel, and granted, it's not their fault, but I feel that to be a trusty sidekick, you have to be here at least 80-90% of the time. Otherwise, I feel I'm just Batman by myself. So I don't know. But that's not the point. The point is, I am getting your DMs and your messages about the trusty sidekick situation. They're both trusty sidekicks. We just don't know what's going on. Maybe they're on their own adventures, you know? Maybe it's a different comic book. I don't know. I eat the cheesecake as it comes, as the sailors say. Anyways, a couple things. One, welcome to the show. Subscribe, rate, review, tell a friend. Two, book me on Cameo. 4th of July is coming up. That's my birthday. Get me a cameo from myself. I love doing cameos to myself. That's funny if you re-listen to it. Anyways, I'm very excited for this guest because this guest is one of my favorite actors of all time. I grew up watching him. And, he's a guest who is a very private person who doesn't do a lot of interviews. And I hounded him and hounded him and hounded him for maybe 3 or 4 years. And then he finally said yes. So I'm very, very psyched, and I've been looking forward to this interview for a long time. And I'm gonna love it, and I know you guys are gonna love it too. You've seen him in Dawn of the Dead, Meet Joe Black, American Gothic, Mind of the Married Men, Medium. The great Jake Weber will be here via Zoom. So I'm very, very, very excited for this, and this is like one of my dreams comes true. When you ever interview one of your top 10 guests that you always want, I think that's success right there. And so I feel very successful right now, and I don't think anyone could take that away from me. So yeah, I'm in high spirits and good spirits, and like I said, this is one of the dreams come true for me, and yeah, man. I mean, high spirits, man. This is gonna be fun. You guys are gonna love it. Subscribe, rate, review. I will be at the Rec Room July 1st with Monique Marvez, August 11th with Greg Barrett, and September 1st I will be headlining. You can get your tickets at www.recroomhb.com. This is probably going to come out in June, so all my dates I have right now are past. But just to prove that I was working this weekend, I'm at Oxnard, Levity Live, Pablo Francisco. Next week, I'm at, no, not next week. The week after, I'm at the Rec Room, Pablo Francisco. Then the week after, I'm at Vegas, it says. I don't know where, but it says Vegas. I think that's actually going to get rescheduled to May. But probably Jimmy Kimmel Club, which I love. I think that's a great comedy club. And then the end of June, I'm going to be at Stand Up Live with TJ Miller. And then in July, Milwaukee Improv with TJ Miller. That did get rescheduled from May to July. And so, yeah, we're doing what we can, how we can, trying to get more dates. Oh yeah, my special. I know I said it was going to get re-released. The company and I had some issues, so I'm going to try and find another company to re-release it and give it the proper re-release that it deserves. Um, so yeah, hopefully I could find something, and if not, you could still get it on Mad Records and watch it on YouTube. Tell a friend, share. Uh, you know, I'm very proud of my special. You guys know my stand up and you guys know me. Uh, I feel my special is one of my best things I've ever done. I'm very proud. Worked hard on it too. I am supposed to do a new special, but I think that I'm not going to do it with this company. So now I just am. I'm training like I'm still doing the new special, but it probably won't get filmed this year. And I'm hoping maybe 2024 or 2025 release date. So, but like I said, I am training for a new special, so that is coming. And I'm going to start rewriting my book. I know I've been talking about a book for a while. The problem with the book is like I write it, I stop it, and I forget what I was writing. It's kind of like a script. But that is one of my 2023 goals is to finish the rough draft of the book. It's going to be called Keith Reza, How to Annoy Yourself to Get to the Top. It's a great title. All right, guys, enjoy Jake Weber on Reza Riffs.
You're listening to Reza Riffs with Keith Reza and Alan Lee, right here on LA Talk Radio.
All right, did I let Jake in? Oh, hey, Jake. Hey,
There we
Jake.
go.
Hey, how are you?
The technology has worked with us. Here we go.
Ah, I'm doing good. It's so good to finally talk to you, not on email.
Yes, sir. Pleasure's
Ah,
mine.
well, man, thank you so much. I wanted to tell you this is like a one of my dream come trues to interview you because you're one of my favorite actors, and and the thing is because like I grew up watching American Gothic, and then I watched Dawn of the Dead and 100 Mile Rule, and like so I grew up with all these storytelling films, and I felt like I just connected with all your characters, so like it's a real honor.
No one has seen 100 Mile Rule. How about that? I like
Yeah.
that movie.
It's one of my favorites. As I was telling you on the phone, I toured with Norm Macdonald for 9 years, and when we would go into these hotels, we would watch all these YouTubes on TV and stuff. So our movies, probably every John Cusack movie you could think of, and then the three Jake Weber movies that we always watched were 100 Mile Rule, Meet Joe Black, and Pushing 10.
What?
Yeah,
It's weird.
yeah,
I mean, geez, Norm, I just can't. That's just really lovely. I mean, I love Norm Macdonald. God bless him, rest his soul.
yeah.
Um, but wow, that's so weird. I just that's great.
Yeah, we were huge
Michael
fans.
McKean. That's so nice. I wish I had gotten to meet him.
Ah,
He and Chevy Chase and Jane Curtin were my favorite Weekend Update
yeah.
anchors.
Well,
They were
you don't need to
so
meet Chevy Chase. He's kind of mean, but
I've met him. He was nice to me.
oh, he was.
Yeah, he was. He was.
I wrote jokes for the Netflix show, and Chevy Chase was one of the guests, and he just didn't get any of the jokes, and I was just like,
Okay, he was so funny back in the day, Fletch and he was what was the one with Goldie Hawn? Foul Play.
Yeah,
He was great. I loved Chevy Chase and I loved Norm Macdonald. He just had that twinkle in his eye
yeah.
all the time.
You
So you
know,
guys were buddies.
oh yeah, he was one of my best friends. He was my comedy dad. And we were watching the following, this was maybe, I don't know, 2015 or so. We were watching the following and you came up on an episode and we just looked at each other and we were like, Jake Weber. So we watched it. And then after the episode, Norm's like, "Hey, we gotta watch the first season of Jake Weber." So we watched the entire first season. You didn't show up, and then the next week you died on the show. And Norm's like, "Fucking Hollywood."
That's funny. Oh my God. I had a little piece in Norm's life. That's really kind of an awesome thing to hear.
Yeah,
And,
and
and he was really good to you. You said he was your comedy dad.
yeah, he taught me everything I know about comedy. So I know the secrets in comedy.
What are the secrets, Keith? Tell
I'll,
us. Give us
I'll
the
tell you. I'll tell you one because you're my buddy. And I think you kind of know this, but the secret to comedy is timing and confidence. Where like it doesn't necessarily mean if you're funny, but if you have great confidence and great timing, it'll work. You know. You
I
know what I
guess
mean?
I read Jonah Hill, something Jonah Hill was, I guess he was he was saying that Ryan, not Ryan Reynolds, because he's innately funny, but Ryan Gosling was worried about doing comedy, and he's so funny, Ryan Gosling. And Jonah said, "Don't." I believe it was in reference to Ryan Gosling, and he was like, "Don't. All you got to do is whatever you say it with 100% conviction, and if it's
Exactly.
funny, it'll be funny."
100%. And you know what's so funny is like in Meet Joe Black, you probably don't know this, but you were so funny in it, and I don't think you meant to be funny because like
Well,
the
I
scene,
did. Oh,
yeah.
I did. Believe me, I did.
Oh, okay, cool.
I
Because
try to
this,
put funny in everything. If you can make them laugh, if you can get them early and make them laugh, then they're paying attention. Then you can
yeah.
make them on. I always try to get funny in.
But like the scene where Anthony Hopkins is like saying, "Oh, I'm not going to sell the company." Brad Pitt just looks at you and you're biting your nose and you give him the like, "What the fuck are you looking at me for?" Like it was just so funny.
I don't remember that.
Yeah,
Um, but no, yeah,
yeah.
you gotta
Um,
try and
oh, go ahead.
no, I was just saying everything you got to mind for the comedy because everything is always you can always find something funny. It's
Yeah,
just an attitude of like how, like the guy in the following, I was trying to make him funny as well. I mean, it's like, why not? In Homeland, they were like, "Do you think this is a comedy?" I said, "Well, my guy does." um, so I don't know. I think, as you know, Keith, making people laugh is one of the great joys of
yeah.
being they don't call it entertainment for nothing.
That's true. Well, like I want to be an actor, but I've been doing stand up for 17 years, and the longer I've been doing stand up, I kind of not wanting to do acting. You know what I mean? Like I'm just happy doing, and I don't know if that's good or not because I want to work with you on something, but I don't think I don't have any skills to do it.
Well, we'll have to find something.
Yeah. I
That'll be
I
fun.
I could be your younger brother who just doesn't say anything and is just on the screen be like,
We can do better than that. Let's come on. Come on. What would be a good buddy road trip movie that we could do?
ah, I was thinking of a good idea for a sitcom where I could be your assistant and I'm just messing up your career, but you love me, so you can keep me
Okay.
on board.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it. And
Yeah,
eventually I strangle you.
exactly. So you said no one's seen 100 Mile Rule. I have. I mean, is that one of your favorite projects you've done? Because I thought you were so great in that.
I loved doing that movie. You know, Michael McKean is one of my uh, acting heroes, comedy heroes, and so do I just love being around him, and he was so funny, and um, and Maria Bello is terrific. And again, that guy, I was trying to make him as funny as that. There was this one moment I could not get through it. Maria Bello and I were making out, and she just had a baby, so she's like fucking lactating. And but we're doing this love scene, and you know, my guy was such a sort of Midwestern, sort of sweet, earnest, you know, dude. And she was the opposite, this very sophisticated, clever sort of she's angling, she's got a whole like sort of femme fatale thing going. And I had to like turn to her, and she was telling me, I think I haven't seen the movie in 20 years, but it
Yeah.
was something to the effect of she was something about her family, and I had to say to her, you know, how's your mother? And I just couldn't get it. I just couldn't get it out without laughing. We just kept cracking each other up. You know? That's the difference between a real comedic actor and a guy like me, who's somewhat of a dilettante. Like it's like when I say something funny, I crack myself up, and I
Yeah.
fuck. I fuck.
I do too. I think that shows more personality to it though. You know what I mean? So like I mean I laugh at my own jokes all the time. And
You
they might
do,
not.
you do in your stand-up. I saw that you were enjoying yourself.
Yeah. I'm
The
so
audience too.
I'm so glad you watched it because like I said, you've made my life better just by your roles and your energy and your dynamics. And it was so nice that I got to give you something. I mean, not what you've given me, but I got to give you a little glimpse of happiness. So thank you so much for watching that.
Thank you
Yeah. So,
for
uh,
giving me some happiness. We
yeah,
all need happiness, don't we, Keith?
definitely. I'm, yeah. So I was telling on the intro that this is a big interview for me because I've been stalking you for 4 years and you finally said yes.
This is true. This is true. Stalking is that actually that might be something to that. You've been very persistent, and I've been very busy, man. But I always wanted to do it. Just you know, life
Yeah.
gets busy.
Well, see that's the thing where like I feel because part of the beauties of having Asperger's is uh not under like not seeing social cues and like on emails and stuff, you know, you can never tell if people get the emails or if they're, you know, too busy watching porn or something, you know what I mean? So like you don't know because of the spam. So that was a bad joke. And but like I'm one, and this seems like creepy to say, but I'm one of those people that like whenever someone says no, I always think no means not right now, or no means maybe later. Like I don't think no means never, you know? So like I try and change the no's to be positives, I guess. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Sure does, and I don't think that's particular to people with Asperger's. It's just a certain amount of determination, and there's a lot of people who, you know, a lot of people have made great careers from not taking no for an answer.
I, I appreciate that. So I appreciate you. And I wanted to ask you, I want like so we'll start us from the top as you know, because I want to respect your time. But I wanted to ask you about American Gothic because I grew up on that show, and then when I was a teenager, I grew up on Mind of the Married Man, and I feel like those are two shows that could have lasted longer and probably would be very, very well to in today's time because of the stories. Like I feel Mind of the Married Man got screwed over with 9/11. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. But I wanted to ask your opinion on that.
So, Mind of the Married Man, not a very PC show. I feel like it was before its time a few years ago, but now it would be in a lot of trouble.
Right. Oh yeah, definitely.
and and I think that's fucked up. But you know,
Yeah.
it's a very perilous time for edgy, sort of subversive or even divisive programming. So the reason Mind of a Married Man got shit canned, it's my understanding. I know that Mike had the second season, the third season. He'd already had it outlined and it was like ready to go. And it was my understanding that the guy who was running HBO at the time, his girlfriend fucking hated the show.
Yeah.
She would get this fucking shit off the air. She was so offended by it. And he had to go to sleep with her. And she would just go on and on about this show. And this is not from the horse's mouth, but the story goes, this guy, what was his name? Chris something, I forget. He was like, I'm sorry, I can't take it. My relationship can't take it, Mike. Mike's like, I've already written the third. We can't. Maybe if I break up with her, like down the road, we'll pick it up. So,
like, I don't want to get murdered in my sleep.
fucking get a fucking what's his name? Was it John Bobbitt? What was his name? The guy who got his pecker cut off. Remember him? Who's the
I
guy?
don't know, but that sounds terrible.
Ashley Babbitt, I think was her name. She cut off her boyfriend's pecker and
Uh,
threw it out of the window of a moving car, and they had to go and find his pecker, and they reattached it, and then apparently had some sort of career as a porn star, which seems baffling.
oh my God. If I was a girl porn star, I would not want to work with that.
It's like a fucking Frankenstein thought. So that's what that. And you know, the one thing that's a bummer is that show, you can't get that show. It's not on the HBO platform. And some of those episodes were fucking piss your pants funny. I mean,
Yeah.
Mike Binder, you know Mike Binder, right? You know him.
Yeah, I interviewed him and I did stand up with him.
He's like the fucking greatest guy and so funny and so fucking, I mean, I love it. He's like a brother to me. And he put all this really expensive music in it.
Yeah.
So for them to rerun that, for them to platform that on HBO, they got to pay for all that money. They got to pay for all that music.
Yeah.
So apparently that's why it's not on there, because I think, I mean, a lot of people remember that show and love it. And I think it would be interesting you can't cancel it. It's already been canceled.
Yeah.
Years ago.
My comedy grandpa is Bobby Slayton, and he was on a few episodes of that show.
Bobby's on a lot.
Yeah, and he was like, the reason why the show didn't work is because of me.
I love Slayton, man. He's funny.
Yeah.
We should go and see him a lot, me and Mike.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, I wish I was opening up for him when you guys saw him, man.
Slayton's funny.
Yeah. So what about American Gothic? Like, how is that? Because you were the hero of that show, and then there was a couple episodes where you disappeared and then you came back. And so what was that about?
Oh, they shit canned me, man. I got fired from that show.
What?
So, yeah. So it was tough. I was just a kid, you know. I was like right out of school, and Sean Cassidy wanted me to do it, and who's the head
Sam
guy?
Raimi?
Yeah, Raimi wanted me, but I had to test like 3 times, and finally they pushed it through. And then the show didn't do well, and the studio wanted me to play the guy is more of a sort of studly guy, you know, more sort of, and they ended up and I was like, he's not that guy. He's not like, he's not some macho guy. He's just not that. And they wanted more sort of traditional, sort of tough guy, square jawed leading man. And they fired me after the first season. And so they replaced me with a guy who was a little bit more to their liking.
Yeah, that's terrible news, because I thought you were so great on that show just by the dynamics, because you're right. He wasn't a tough guy, but he was tough enough to do the right thing. You know what I mean? So like that's what I liked about that character. And he really took care of Caleb.
Yeah. Hey, how about little Lucas Black, man? He's a big actor now.
I
That kid
know.
is so fucking cool, man. He was like literally he never acted before. It's like a local kid. Well, he liked to go out and shoot crossbows. And he
Yeah.
was like, I think he was like a really good pitcher. So this little athletic kid, he's like maybe 11 or something. So fucking cool. His mom was great. And they were just, they kind of fell into this, but he was just this country boy, who's like with that thick accent. I mean, they're like salt of the earth, like real fucking, he was the real deal. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That kid was that kid. He never acted before in his life.
When I told him I was interviewing you, he wanted me to ask you if you'll do Fast and the Furious 19.
Sure. Did you talk to you're kidding.
No, I don't know, but I just wanted to
No,
make you
no.
laugh.
I'd love to see him again, man. I would love to give him a hug. We had a lot of fun being him.
And then I saw this movie called Haven, and you had one scene, but that scene was so powerful where you played a police officer, and that was not, that was something that where you totally changed your dynamics on that. And I wanted to ask you, like, how do you do that on because regardless if it's a big role or not, you're the type of guy who changes the dynamics, and you're the most interesting character in the film.
Well, um, if you say so. Um, I don't know. He was just like he was a cop. I don't know. I like playing like different types of guys. I mean, I'm a shy guy. So
Yeah,
I got to not be shy. So I mean so I love playing different guys, and I like playing hard guys because I'm kind of a soft guy in person. So that's always fun. So I'm
yeah.
a character, and that's what I've always done.
And just changing the dynamics. That's why I think we're like, um, I don't know, like I think like those are the best type of actors for storytelling because I write scripts and how I write scripts. I mean, I've never sold any, so don't get your hopes up. But I write with Jake Weber in mind. You know what I mean? So I write like 7 scripts. I'm like, oh, this would be perfect because if you write a character with an actor in mind, it's easier to write. You know?
It is. Yeah, I'm very flattered, Keith. Dude, thank you. Well,
Yeah. If I ever get a
something.
break, you're going to be in my sitcom. You're going to be my assistant.
I'm gonna be your assistant. What happened? 10 minutes ago, I was your boss, and now I'm your assistant.
Yeah.
Fucking show business.
Fucking Hollywood.
You go. Um, do it, man. Write it. Write something.
And
That's
then
what I'm doing. I'm writing a lot. I'm enjoying it.
do you enjoy writing?
I get a little obsessive about it. So, like when I'm not writing, I don't miss it. I kind of dread it, but then when I'm in it, I'm just like I'm just myopic about it. I can't even like nobody can come near me. I'm like fucking gone
Yeah.
for a month. I'll just come out for food and a shit, and that's about it.
Yeah. I find it very peaceful writing scripts, because I feel like these are, you know, I feel like I said, I feel like it's peaceful, and then like it's a movie. Like I write movies that I would want to see, regardless if they'll be made or not. So I feel like it's easy to, you know, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't outfox yourself and say, "Oh, I'm gonna write this because it'll sell." It's just like that's a fool's errand. You just got to write what you want to watch. I
Yeah.
think.
I wrote Pushing 10 too.
Did you really? Hey,
No,
that's a weird movie, man. How weird is that with those? So this is actually a cool story. That was so much fucking fun.
yeah,
For those maybe your listeners who don't know it, it's a movie about air traffic controllers, and it was based on a New York Times Magazine cover story about this guy in LaGuardia who was like the pressure. He was this close up of his face, and he was like sweating. He's a big Italian American guy, and good dude he was. And they adapted this into a movie. So originally, this movie is a sort of Altman-esque movie about air traffic controllers and this sort of gonzo, fucking mad. These people are all like, they used to be all be fucking on coke and shit, but
Right.
that when they're in there, Reagan fired all of the controllers, so these were all like fucking cowboys, and they're on these screens all day long, and they're all fucking like kind of batty and crazy, and it takes a certain type of personality. And then they go off and they have to decompress in the room, and they just watch video games. They play video games. I mean, these are like fucking cracked eggs, all of these guys.
Yeah.
So that was what the movie was supposed to be about. But then these two girls, these two actresses, who hadn't done much, almost nothing before, and that's Kate Blanchett and Angelina Jolie.
Yeah.
They had kind of supporting roles in the movie, and they blow up between us wrapping principal photography and the movie coming out a year and change later, whatever that was. They'd blown up. Angelina Jolie's she had this TV thing that came out that she won fucking everything for. Played a model, like a drugged out model who's
Oh, Girl Interrupted or something?
well interrupted, yeah. And then Kate Blanchett, I think, came out with Elizabeth or something. Anyway, so they recut the whole movie for the girls because these women were now that was Cusack was in that. That's yeah.
I love Cusack.
But they exploded, so they recut the movie and made it about those girls in the relationship. So the movie was almost unrecognizable. It still has a fun movie.
Oh no, definitely. I interviewed Vicki Lewis and Kurt Fuller when the pandemic started, and I was like, if I got the Pushing 10 script, we should do a read through, a pandemic read through. And then they're like, well, good luck getting Jake and Cusack. I was like, oh well.
So first of all, how's Vicky? I just worked with the movie I'm directing and right now, and I got Nick Nolte for there was a terrible mistake. For some reason he agreed to do it. But so I'm talking with Nolte about Vicky because Vicky was going out with Nolte at the time we were shooting, and Vicky and I got along like fucking two houses on fire.
Yeah, Vicky's the coolest.
Vicky is such a cool girl. So funny. We had so much fun on that set. It was like all kind of improvised and shit. It was as loose. That's why I so said it's sort of Altman-esque, because the director was just about just make it up, kids. It was all this fucking improv and shit constantly. So it was so much fun with and such a loose, loose place to work. And these people were all kind of cracked anyway. But Vicki Lewis, I fucking loved her, and I have not seen her since. And I feel like if I saw her again, we would just pick up right where we left off because she's such a fucking great gal.
Well, definitely. I mean, I'm not super close with her. I talk to her on Twitter every now and then, but
oh, you do? All right.
Yeah.
And Kurt, man, we would fucking torture Kurt Fuller. Me and Matt, because Kurt is like, we all got so fucking close. I don't know. This is when, you didn't shoot a movie in 3 weeks.
Right.
You shoot a movie in 3 months, and you're in fucking Toronto, and you're all hanging out all the time. And so you really get to know the people, and we were all like really, really tight. And me and Matt would just torture Kurt. We would like, he would go out to lunch, and we'd empty his dressing room. We'd like turn one day we just emptied, he'd walk back, and there was like the dressing rooms were like rooms on a sound stage.
Yeah.
Come in, room would be totally empty, and he'd like fucking he'd like come and scream. Another time we went out and we just moved all the furniture like upside down and like stuck it up against the wall and shit. And then the worst thing that this poor guy, because Kurt is like, he's a really earnest guy.
Yeah.
And he's sensitive, and he's very, very,
he's one of the best character actors of all time.
Oh God, he's great. He's fucking brilliant. So me and Matt, we did. So this is really cool. He came over to sit with us. We were, eating lunch or something, and and I think this is Matt's idea. We were, there was a new scene written, Kurt. They wrote a scene for Barry, and I forget what the other guy's name, what Matt said, but we said that there's this new scene, and because we were sort of a triangle, and it was always like the three of us.
Yeah.
And he was just so devastated, and then we were just like, no, sorry, because the reaction was not "fuck you." It was like, how could you do that to me? You guys are not my friends. Not my friends.
Kurt told me that while he was working on Pushing 10, that it was one of the most stressful jobs he ever had, because he said that he went into like a place where they were actually really pushing 10, and he was studying it, and he said like that's the most stressful job. Like he was like, he doesn't know how people could do that.
Yeah, it's very
Like,
stressful. That was the whole idea, but that's why you cast Kurt Fuller, who's a little neurotic, should we say, and also very funny.
yeah,
I want to see more of his stuff. He was like, everything he does, he is so funny, and he just has his own thing. And those mad eyes, those those googly eyes.
yeah, definitely. But
So
how is Cusack? What was it like working with him?
Cusack was great. I mean, I'm not going to say it. I mean, we were friendly there, but it wasn't like I was hanging out much more with, Vicky and Matt Ross and Kurt, and we were sort of movie stars. They're a different species. He's been a movie star since he was a kid.
Yeah,
It's not to say that he's not like cool and accessible, and he's really funny. He's really smart, really fucking smart. But it's just like I didn't feel totally comfortable because he's like this fucking big movie star, and I want to hang out with my buddies and not like it just.
I want to pick on Kurt.
I want to go. I'm gonna go empty Kurt's dressing room.
Yeah,
Um,
and then I wanted to ask you, you worked with a lot of legends, and this is something I've never seen, but you were on Gene Wilder's sitcom, Something Wilder. What was that like? Because that guy was probably the funniest comic. You know what I mean? Comic actor.
I mean, a genius. I mean, he's fucking Gene Wilder. So I was so psyched. And that I think was my first. I think that was my first job out of school, like TV job. So, Gene Wilder. So I became really close with him. My girlfriend at the time, Norhana, and Karen and Gene and I were Karen's his wife. We spent a lot of time together.
Yeah.
I really got to be pretty close to them, and he is not funny in person.
Really?
He's sweet, sensitive, as sweet and soft spoken as Pine. Absolutely, just this little. He's. You know how he has that gear in his acting? Like the stuff that's so funny of Gene's is when he's all like manic and everything is falling apart and he's off the train again. But when you take that out, what you're left with is this really sweet, lovely, soft-spoken man. So that's really like kind of who he was.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe when he's around really funny people, he's funny, but he was never on. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, definitely. I get it. I know what that means. Yeah.
Yeah, he was never on in person. So we're doing this sitcom, and Gene is like, Jennifer Grey was originally cast as his wife, and they replaced her after the pilot because she just looked so much younger than him. So they replaced Jennifer Grey, and I forget the gal who came in. She was lovely. I forget her name. She was so Gene is like, and Greg Itzen, who just died, was terrific in that show. Greg Itzen played his best buddy. and I played his brother-in-law, his kind of like semi, I can't even say the semi, what, mentally challenged person. I mean, he was kind of an idiot, the
Yeah.
brother. Um, and so we're doing. I'm kind of getting a little dissipated here. Okay, so Gene was like, I mean, the one thing I just don't want is them to put me like in a rabbit suit. Sure enough,
They put him in a rabbit suit.
he's in a rabbit suit. But we did get to do we him in the rabbit. You're in the rabbit suit, Gene. You're looking good though. So the one thing that we did get to do, because they ended up replacing me because they just weren't writing for me, so they just didn't have it ready. But I have a bucket list story from Something Wilder. So me and Gene are doing some illegal dumping. Right, we got to go into the dump, and we're carrying all our garbage.
Right.
So, and we have to be really, really quiet because we don't want to get shot by the garbage guards.
Right.
So I got to do this whole like Laurel and Hardy, like silent film with Gene where I keep fucking up and he turns and gives me that I trip and fucking drop something and so we got to do this whole silent movie like little sequence with Gene Wilder, and it was like so much fun, and he was so funny in it when we saw it.
I wish someone would like release those, like the secret tapes or something. That would be cool.
I think I have the VHS somewhere. I should probably try and have a look at that. That's my favorite thing to do on that was that whole silent movie sequence. So great.
All right, so I have four more questions because I want to respect your time. What scripts do you enjoy reading when you get a script or when you go audition? Do you read the entire script or just your character or what role you're going to do?
God, I try not to read the whole script. Yeah, it's 2 hours of your life you'll never get back. What I do is I read the first 20 pages and then I just go to my guy. So I just need to get the gist of it, unless it's a really, really good script, which doesn't happen that often. Christopher Walken, he doesn't read the script at all. What he does, he crosses out every single thing on the script, except, of course, he doesn't read for audition. He reads when he's been offered a role. Crosses out every single thing in the script except his cue line, and he crosses out all of his punctuation. So when he shows up on set, he's just doing fucking walking, whatever that is. And then when his cue line comes in, he knows to say his line, and he crosses out all the punctuation. Man does not speak with punctuation.
Yeah.
There is no punctuation. Christopher Walken's cadence.
It was because like another Norm story. We were writing Dirty Work too, and like other scripts and stuff, and he would always be like, "It has to be good for Sandler," and I'm like, "Okay." And what about Saget? He's like, "Sandler."
You got his timing down, don't you?
But it was just so, because like he always said that Dirty Work, that was like his only movie he ever did, and he's like, it was either the best movie of all time or the worst movie because either I wrote it or Saget directed it. And like, it was weird because like all three of us were good friends. Like we actually Norm had a talk show and we tried to get Cusack on it and it didn't work out. And then Saget had a podcast and Saget's like, I'm gonna get Cusack. And then unfortunately it didn't work out. So I'm the only one left, and I don't think that's ever gonna happen. But like it was like we had this brotherhood where it was like these little jokes like that. Like when we would see you on the following, we'd be like, Jake Weber.
It was like your little joke. It was like TV's Dick Weber. Yeah.
All
I'm
right.
gonna take a compliment that's hiding in there. Um, but no, that's funny. Saget was another fucking sad loss. Saget's was really close with Mike Binder, so that was fucking. He was around. He was around the set of Mind of the Married Man a lot.
Yeah. He directed you, didn't he?
He did, yeah. I
Okay.
kind of blocked that out. Just saying, I'm not speaking ill of the dead. I'm making a joke, Saget.
No, I
Okay,
get it. Yeah.
looking down. If you're paying attention, which I'm sure you've got better things to do with your life, your afterlife, than listen to you. But just in case, I love you.
Well, see, Saget, when Norm died, Saget called me every week just to make sure how I was doing until he passed. So like I became really close with Saget once Norm died.
Oh,
But
really?
yeah, but they only died like 6 months apart, and Saget was complete. Like I think Norm, because he introduced me to Saget, I think Norm knew he was gonna die, and he wanted Saget to take care of me, but I don't think he knew Saget was gonna die. So like, it's kind of like I'm by myself now, which is fine. Like I've accepted it with therapy and stuff, but I still feel their spirits. Like I still talk to their spirits all the time.
Why did you need taken care of, did he think?
Just like comedy and stuff, like because I'm
Oh,
an yeah.
helping you, making
What?
sure that helping you, making sure that you find an audience.
Yeah, yeah. And because like I said, I'm not I don't have a like I feel I'm very, very funny and I feel I'm a great stand-up, but I don't have the popularity or the market or the fan base, which is fine, but like I bring what I bring, you know what I mean?
You know, your audience will find you. It's like, I mean, look, no one said it's going to be easy, and but everyone's going to get a shot at some point,
Mm.
and you just got to not fuck it up. Just be ready for it, because if you're funny and creative and you're doing, you're gonna get a break.
Yeah.
Everyone gets a break. You just gotta make sure you're ready for it.
Have you ever thought about trying stand-up, or is that something you'd want to dip into?
No, I can't imagine that I would. I love stand up.
Yeah.
I love stand up. I watch, like, that's probably most of what I watch on TV is stand up.
Yeah.
You know, so it's kind of like it took me a long time to start writing because I love reading so much. I was like, I can't not even compete. I'm not even in the same fucking universe. Um, and but so I feel like that way about stand-up is like it never occurred to me because um I love, like, is it Neil Brennan, like that sort of that hybrid of stand-up as just storytelling, you
Yeah.
know, stories about your life, or I like the storytellers. When somebody tells a really good story. I love Mike Binder's doc on the Comedy Store.
Yeah. That was great. Yeah.
But like the storytellers are the ones. Like whenever I leave town to go to work, I always bring the aristocrats with me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I watch that all the time because it just fucking kills me. It just always puts me in a good mood,
Yeah.
and it's filthy, and you just see you got all these comics, and they're all brilliant and different. Because I don't think you can be homogenous and get into that world. You gotta have something special to you. You have to
Yeah.
be 100% you, authentic. Can't pretend to be anyone else. So, and I just look at all those great personalities all telling the same joke. I mean, it's like It's fantastic.
Yeah. Well, I think if you ever did want to try it, I think you would be great at it.
God, I don't think so.
I know. I think because I sent I you're very funny, and I sense you would be great. So
Well,
I think you should try it one day, and you'll be like, Keith Reza was right. I'm fantastic.
brilliant. That's what I'm telling everyone.
Yeah. Just don't have me open for you. That might not work.
Okay. Now, I'm not gonna let you upstage me, motherfucker.
Okay, so I got two more questions for you because I wanted to respect your time. This one was Dawn of the Dead, which uh, was James Gunn's first movie that he wrote, and your character was honestly the heart and the soul of it, of the whole film, and it was the most interesting part of the whole film. And the ending was just beautiful. Like, how did you, like, I know it was probably in the script, but how did you do that? Where like did you choose to kiss Anne's hand and push the boat, or like was that, you know what I mean?
I was just, that just happened. It just made sense to me at the moment to kiss her hand.
Yeah.
It wasn't scripted or anything. It was just like, there's some cool stuff that was cut out. The thing I had kind of established this kind of motif throughout the movie if I pass her, I like touch her hand like you would a buddy, kind of like
Yeah.
something like or just like kind of like that, like so grab her and it's just you're passing, because they were kind of intimate at that point. So that made sense that was part of that, but we didn't get any of the other hand stuff in the movie. It was just that one moment.
Yeah. Well, that was a great moment because I thought basically what you were saying was everything's going to be okay. I love you. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
I felt like you weren't just talking to her, you were just talking to the entire audience who was on board with you
well, that's cool that had resonance
for a
for the
zombie film.
film. Well, I took myself so seriously back then as an actor. I was like, I was, it was all, I was, it was all, I was very, like, approached that movie as if, it was a plague rather than a zombie apocalypse. That there was, I was thinking like if Rwanda had just happened, where everyone sort of turned against each other and people were being just massacred.
Right.
So I didn't look at it as a genre film as much as I did as a story of a genocide. So I was like very serious, very like in it, and like I didn't like everybody was having so much fun on set, and I missed out on all that because I was like watching snuff films in my trailer. Like,
But I think I think that's
yeah,
good that you did
I
that
knew
because
that.
that came off like that.
Well, I did miss out a lot of fun, but I mean, it was like I was like, but I would that's something that a fucking dumb young actor does, like before the first scene, I was like, I got my girlfriend to send me this tape called the Something Faces of Death from Kim's Video, which no longer exists in the East Village. And she sends it up to me. So I'm instead of like, fucking filing my nails or like a drink or like on the phone, I'm watching fucking people getting their arms cut off.
Yeah.
And I come out of the trailer and I'm thinking that I'm gonna be all like emotionally, like terror in my eyes. I'm just like fucking I am the fucking zombie at that point. I'm like, what the fuck did I just do to myself? I can never unsee that. What are we doing here? Where's my mark? Complete useless. And you can see it in the movie. I'm like fucking dazed. In
Yeah.
the scene. I'm like out to lunch because I just watched fucking the Thousand Faces of Death or whatever it was.
Yeah. And
And we'll never do that
you
again.
sold TVs at Best Buy.
And I sell TVs at Best Buy. Did that make it in there? I think it,
Yeah. Now, Jake, my final question for you, because I know when I wrote you, I said I wouldn't release this because unless you give me your blessing and permission, because you said you don't interviews isn't really your thing. So I was wondering, is this good enough to release in the eyes of Jake Weber?
yeah, I don't think that I say anything that's gonna get me like fucking canceled or like I don't think so.
All right, cool. Well, Jake, thank you so much for talking to me. It was a dream come true, and I'm glad that you're my pen pal, buddy. Like I'm glad
Oh,
you're in my life in a form. So thank you so much.
you bet, man. I look forward to seeing you live, man.
All right, have a great day, Jake.
You too, Keith.
Bye.
Oh, man.
All right, and that was the interview with Jake Weber. Guys, subscribe, rate, review, and tell a friend. We'll see you guys next week.
You're listening to Reza Riffs with Keith Reza and Alan Lee, right here on LA Talk Radio. You're listening to Reza Riffs with Keith Reza and Alan Lee, right here on LA Talk Radio.